What's up? My name is Nathan. Welcome to NCB Evolution. On this channel, I talk about my journey of learning how to become more self-aware and more conscious of what I do in my life and also how I plan on growing. I make it a point to pay attention to everything that goes on in my life because I know that when you are so aware of how things are going, whether that be internally or externally, you can do so much more when you have that awareness. In this video, I wanted to talk about the 5 limiting beliefs that I got rid of in the year 2024 and also how I pushed past and became better as a result. So if you're looking to improve your life financially, in your health, in your relationships, or just become a more conscious person, this video is going to be for you. Okay, so starting with the first one. Okay, so the way I ordered the beliefs, it goes from very physical to more spiritual as we move along. Okay, so for the first limiting belief, we often set our standards based off of our surroundings. If we're in a homeless area, our standards are going to be different if we're living in Florida and Palm Beach, where there's like a lot more money around. So there's this phrase that I learned from somebody on YouTube. So there's this phrase that I learned. The phrase is, "Don't fall for the insecurity of the masses." What that means is people set standards according to what everyone else tells them is possible. But achieving what we call a big goal is not actually as hard as you think. It's just that most people are not willing to put in some effort. For example, it is not that hard to get a six-pack, but it is so valued in our society because people are just not willing to do some sit-ups every day. It's really that simple. I mean, and just eat normal food. Like, it's really not hard. So that's one example. Another example of maybe making 10,000 a month isn't that difficult. You have to have a product, you have to have an audience that you want to sell to, and then you have to have a way of marketing the product. It's that simple. And then you have to put in the work every single day until you see results. There's nothing more to it. I recently learned from one of my coaches and from my business, I learned that in business, there's no emotion. It's all about the numbers. Like, I mean, there is passion in it, but there's no emotion to like, what if I don't hit that goal? What if it just doesn't work out? It's not how it works. If you put in the work, you will get the result. That's business. But most people don't realize this. They think that it's just a really hard goal to get to, 10,000 a month. It's not even that hard. If you have focus, it's all you need, and you don't even need a lot of it. There are very dumb people making that type of money. There are very dumb people making that amount of money. It's not about smart. It's not about how smart you are. It's not about where you came from. You just need focus and to disregard what everyone tells you is possible. Because if you just tried it out, you'd know it's not that hard. So the phrase once again is, don't fall for the insecurities of the masses. Most people are not willing to go and do a little bit of exercise because they have a bunch of beliefs that it's really hard or it's not possible or it's genetics. So they never end up doing it. But a person, if they were just willing to try, they would see that it's not that hard. So that was one limiting belief. I used to think that making money is like a special thing, but it's really not that special because it's just an equation. You put in, the input goes in, the output comes out. Whatever you put in is how much you get out. It's that simple. Okay? The next limiting belief was, for me, was you don't need a reason to go to speak to somebody or connect with another human being. Like, I realize it's totally normal to see somebody, like be online to like at a cafe and then just say like hi to the person that you're next to and just like talk to them about whatever. Like anything. You don't need a reason to talk to a person. Or if like you're living your day-to-day life, maybe you go to the gym, maybe you're still in high school and you see a pretty girl. There's nothing wrong with just going up and just saying hi and stuff. It's totally normal. It's not weird. It only comes across as weird if you think it's weird. Because who do you think is going to come across as more confident? A person that thinks it's weird and is thinking in their head, what if she thinks it's what if she thinks I'm creepy, blah blah blah, things like that. Or the person that says, or the guy that says, I'm confident, I know what I'm doing, I'm gonna go, I don't know, talk to her, whatever. That's what he's trying to do. Okay? So there's nothing wrong with just going up to a person and talking to them just because. That's something that I realized because it does not come to me naturally. So yeah, if that's a challenge that you have, just realize it's totally normal as long as you look like a human being to go and say hi to a person. Just because. Cool. Okay. So now I'm going to start getting into more spiritual type things. It's a little more deep. So I learned this year that the nature of life is good. Whether you believe in God or not, you have to believe in some type of energy because things don't happen by accident. It doesn't make sense. If you're such a logical person, you'd understand that the probability of the earth being perfectly where it is and the sun being as far as it is away from the earth, keeping us from freezing or burning, like it's not possible to just happen by accident. So there had to be some kind of something to make that happen. So let's call it like the infinite to keep it neutral. So I realized that life and nature is inherently good. Okay? The reason is, what is the opposite of the infinite? The opposite of God. You can't have a devil. You can't have like negative things because there's no opposite to God. God is the ultimate good. There can't be an opposite to the infinite. If that makes sense. How that helps me practically is in any scenario where I don't know the solution, I know that there is the right thing to do and that it all happens for a reason. So even let's say that I'm wrong and that nature is not inherently good. Obviously, living as if it is produces two different types of people. I mean, I know for a fact that nature is inherently good and life is inherently good, but let's say that you don't believe in God. If you just look at or if you don't believe in a higher power, let's just look at the people that believe in good, that everything is inherently good and for the best, and then people that think that everything isn't, things are just negative. It's two different types of people that get two different outcomes in their life. The world is binary. There is the right thing to do, and then there's the wrong thing to do. There's a group of people that walk around with like rainbow hair and stuff like that, and they usually say how that life is a lot more complicated than black and white, but it's not. They say it's a lot more complicated than black and white, but I don't think so. I'm not saying that the world is not complex, but there is always a right and wrong. And I realized this year that most people don't see it that way. But the truth is, most people are not willing to just put in the effort or to live their life fully and see it for themselves. People that don't believe that life is binary, they tend to be weaker people. Very simple example, there are people that think that some people are just destined to be obese and that it's genetic. But then if you talk to them and you ask them, have you ever worked out or eaten the right foods for a consistent amount of time? No, it doesn't happen. It's not possible. If they ate and did the right things, it's just the laws of life. They would lose the weight and they would get stronger. It's that simple. But if they say it's not that simple, then they give the power away and they say it's not my fault. It's my ancestors' fault. It's my genetics. It's God's fault. I don't know. They come up with another reason. So that's why people say that life is not binary, because they're not willing to take responsibility for their actions and for their life. That's very important. Because I read in this book, because as we all know from Spider-Man, Peter Parker's uncle said, with great power comes great responsibility. I read in this book, though, that with great responsibility comes great power. If you are a person that has responsibility, you have a power. And I noticed that people that don't believe in this also, they usually have a lack of education, or they're just not being logical about it. They're being very emotional because they don't want to see the truth. They don't want to take accountability for their life. So just know this, there's always a right and there's a wrong. And keep that in mind whenever you do anything. So try to keep the decisions in your life as simple as possible. They are binary. There is a right and there's a wrong. Just sometimes the right path is not the easiest. Next, limiting belief. So I used to think when I started working on improving the different parts of my life that everybody else doesn't matter. They don't matter. What matters is working on myself. And all that matters is me. Right? But you have to realize that we are all connected. That's what I learned this year. That we are all technically one unit. If you have read the book Marcus Aurelius, you'll know that he constantly says that we are all one, and that anything that you do should be for the good of the whole. The truth is that we all come from one source. Whether you believe in a higher power or not, we all come from one place. Whether it's the Big Bang or God, whatever you think, or chimpanzees. Okay? We all come from one place. So that means we all have to care for one another. And when you do this, your life becomes so much more abundant. Because when you give care and love, you multiply it. And that just makes things so much better. What we are is light. That is what we are. To get a better understanding of what I'm talking about, you should read these two books. The first book is The Power of Now, and the second one is The Four Agreements. Look at those books, you'll get a better understanding and be able to comprehend what I really mean by we're all connected in some way. The final thing I wanted to say was anything you want, you can have if you commit to it fully. Words that I live by are, I will either find a way or make a way. Write that down, hang that up in your room, keep it in mind. When you commit to that I will either find a way or make a way, nothing can stop you. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.